like to welcome everyone out to our county commission meeting tonight. I think we have 100% of our commissioners here. Glad to see everyone. If you would, let's go ahead and do electronic roll call. If you would check in on your screen, please. Just a second. I'm sorry. Ready? Okay. Should say enter meeting. Just hit where it says enter meeting. Is that right?
It's not going to show. It's not going to show.
It's not going to show. Okay. Everybody logged in? Okay. Let's say we have 100% everyone here. Okay. First item on our agenda tonight would be our approval of minutes. Minutes from the February 28, 2022 commission meeting have been distributed. Are there any corrections, deletions, additions to those minutes as published? Entertain a motion to approve the minutes. Mr. Ford, you're recognized.
Motion to approve.
Ford makes a motion to approve. Do I have a second? Mr. Clarity has a second. No corrections? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? No. Okay. Minutes are approved. Next, move into announcements. The only thing I had, Mr. Paxton wanted to give us a brief update on the election and election schedule. So, Mr. Paxton, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you. For those of you who have pulled petitions but haven't returned them, I would remind you that April 7th is the deadline. Please don't wait until April the 7th at 12 noon, which is the deadline, and hand a petition in with 25 signatures, because if one signature is bad, then you won't have a bad petition. So if you can turn them in ahead of time, that's fine. I ran into, and she didn't hurt me, I ran into Miss Russell, and she has her petition. She's ready to turn it in. So I'll be glad to take that tonight from her if you trust me to take it, and then I'll send you a receipt for that. Okay, so I'll be glad to do that if anyone else has that. But I would encourage you to get those turned in so we can get them checked. We do have at least 2 people who have pulled a petition in every district, in every county district, and in each school board, as well as, of course, for all our other offices. So we look in good shape there as long as everyone returns it. So I would ask that you do that at your earliest convenience, but the sooner the better. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Paxton. I didn't have any other announcements. Mayor, do you have any announcements?
No, sir.
Commissioners, do any of y'all have any announcements you'd like to make at this time? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on. Amendments to the agenda and approval of the agenda. We do need to remove Resolution 2022-07-75. This is at the request of the county attorney. Felt like that we need to roll this into the personnel since we're going to be doing a new personnel policy in its entirety. That it would be better to make this a part of it instead of an addition to something that really will have to be approved later, and feel like we need to also do it by ordinance instead of resolution. So we just want to pull it for tonight. That's Resolution 2022-07-75. That's the part on the retroactive pay. 751. That's correct. I'm sorry. Can't write my own reading. Okay. Any objection to that? Seeing none, if you would, please remove that. Are there any other corrections, additions, deletions to the agenda? Mr. Mayor?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, we need to add a resolution from the county accepting donation of scoreboards at the Little League field. from Wilson Bank and Trust. I don't know if there's a representative of Little League here tonight, but they were asking if we can go ahead and do that because Wilson Bank and Trust would like to know we're going to accept a donation before they expend the funds.
We do have that on the corrected agenda that was at your table. That was the one he's speaking to is 2022-09-753. So we did try to get you corrected agenda on these things. So we do have that on there. Is anything else? Okay. All right, we'll move on then. Citizens' response to the agenda items. If you wish to speak to the commission on any of the matters that, Chairman, I'm sorry, we need to approve the agenda. I'm trying to run ahead of myself tonight. I'm sorry. Mr. Harsh.
Move to approve the agenda as you've just stated.
Move to approve the agenda with the one deletion. Mr. Taylor gets a second on it. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, we have approved our agenda. Thank you. I'll try to slow down and not go so fast. Citizens' response to the agenda items. If you wish to speak to the commission on a matter on this month's agenda, please sign in at this time, simply so we'll know to recognize you when we get to that part of it. Certainly, if some of this business pertains to you, if you're one of the petitioners, we would call on you without you signing in if need be. But if there's someone in our audience that would like to speak to anything on our agenda, please come up and sign in so that we can recognize you at the proper time. Okay. Seeing none, move on. County Mayor's report. Mayor Chambers.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The first item is the Community Development Block Grant. We had our public hearing. It was just really myself and Ms. Faye Leonard, who is a grant consultant, appeared or attended via Zoom. We're going to submit for a housing rehabilitation project. We did look at other items such as water line, sewer line, and some other projects, and we just didn't meet the eligibility requirements for those. She thought this was our best chance to get something funded. And this has been a need in the community. I've had several people asking if there's a way we could find some funds to renovate their houses or do some work on their houses. And we do have an area that will qualify, so that's what we're going to submit for. That's actually on your agenda tonight as a resolution. It should be under item B1, so I can answer any further questions then. We did have a meeting of the GNRC and some members of the county commission and others for our strategic plan. They asked some further questions on that, trying to narrow it down a little bit further on what kind of items we were looking at. And they said they were going to look at call another one that they're going to try to have at Farmers Harvest, and they'll work out the dates and send out invitations to the commissioners and department heads and others. We did hear back from the Tennessee Department of Transportation on our traffic signal modernization grant. We did not receive that in our region. Only one project was funded, and there was other regions that got several. But so we did not receive that grant, but that is something we're going to look at going forward, how to make improvements to that traffic signal. I have assembled a mental health and substance abuse task force that's going to work with the county and looking how we can address those issues, and not just the general public, but also in the jails and schools and everything like that, trying to make a holistic approach and put together maybe use of American Rescue funds to help seed something like that and see how we need to go forward working with other grant projects. So we are holding that Wednesday at noon. I'm working on the Trousdale County Health Council on that, and they've been a great assistance getting that together with stakeholders. And so we're hoping to have some progress made out of that once we have that meeting. We did get great interest in it. Right now, we expect somewhere between 50 to 60 attendees. So that's going to be something that goes hopefully very well. It's been very much needed here in the community. We can have completed our last project under the 2018 home grant. We did have several that will complete housing reconstructions and some rehabilitations. So we'll be closing that out very soon. We didn't get to fund as many as we would like, as obviously, as you know, as we were going through this, the cost of goods and materials and everything shot up. So that really cut back on the number of projects you could do. But all the ones who did receive it were very grateful. I've been contacted by the Housing Authority Director, Mr. Maxwell Carter. There is another community development block grant. It's called CDBG-CV. It's using coronavirus funds or loan to the CARES Act to possibly do broadband out the Housing Authority properties. So that is something we may bring to you next month. He's going to, I believe, either going to speak to the housing authority or has spoken to the housing authority about that and bring that forward after we learn more on that and get their vote on that. And lastly, our water general manager, Mr. Tommy McFarland, is in the hospital. He's had some health issues over the weekend and want to wish him a speedy recovery and wish him well and certainly let him know our thoughts and prayers with him. So at that time, that's the end of the mayor's report, but I can answer questions on any of those items or anything else anyone may have.
Thank you, Mayor. Commissioners, anyone have any questions? Seeing none?
I was just wondering where Tommy was. Is he in Hartsville Hospital or?
I don't know exactly which hospital he's in. They just told me he had to go. He had to go in the hospital on Saturday, and he was still there. They didn't tell me where, and I didn't ask. I just,
Okay,
you know.
It's my understanding he's in Centennial.
Centennial. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? We'll move into committee reports. Steering committee met on March 10th. We looked at the pilot program that was sent forward from the Industrial Development Board, approved it to be sent to the full body, or to be sent to Budget and Finance. And then the retroactive pay policy was approved, and that was recommended to send to the full body. That's the one that we put off for tonight. We also discussed the upcoming resale of land committee. They are scheduled to meet tomorrow at 1 o'clock here in the courtroom. I had some discussion on some of the traffic lights and some of those issues, some of the things that are holding, but nothing that was other than discussion on those things. That was pretty much it. Steering. Did I miss anything, guys? Else? Okay. Next, Parks and Rec met on March 3rd.
Yes, we met on March the 3rd. First thing, we approved the minutes from the January 20th meeting. The next thing we talked about was the Ballpark Lights. Mr. Slee had been in contact with Tri-County. They don't have the, they don't stock the lights that we need. Said it'd be about 14 weeks before they could come in. So we'll try to probably hold off after the football and Little League season before we start doing that, but it's supposed to be getting some new poles and new lighting at the Little League field. That's something that's been needed for a while. Next thing we discussed was the pool season. Cliff Sallee said that everything looked good for opening this year. He said he's gonna have 17 applicants for lifeguards. He's even gonna have one person just be a cleaner and a cook at the concession stand. So everything's looking good so far on that. He did say that the chemicals was about double or whatever the prices they was the past year or so, but I think we'd be in good shape on that. The next thing we discussed was playground equipment at the park. A lady from Miracle, Tammy Phillips, was here. She's a certified safety inspector. She recommended that one of the structures down here be closed until repairs are made. So it has been closed. I was down there with my grandkids this past week, and it is roped off, and or nobody ain't supposed to be no one on it. And to get it fixed was going to be 30. We got it as a budget amendment tonight to try to get that piece of equipment fixed was going to be the 36,611. That's one of our budget amendments tonight that the park recommended that we go ahead and pass that to try to get that fixed as soon as we could. And that's about all we had. Our next meeting, when do we schedule our next meeting? Oh yeah, next meeting is April 28th at 6 o'clock.
April 28th at 6 o'clock.
Yes.
Be the next meeting. Okay. Anyone have any questions from Commissioner Gregory?
Well,
Mr. Clarendon?
I'd like to ask the mayor, where are we on our lights and poles? Have they been ordered or anything? Did you know?
I believe I'm gonna say hesitantly say yes. I believe they have been. That's where the 14-week delivery time come in, but I'll have to check with Mr. Slee to verify that.
Any other questions? Okay, move on. Veteran Services, March 15th.
For the second time, we had no quorum, so the meeting was canceled, but there's some appointments to reference to that. Our next meeting is April 19th at 6 PM here in the courthouse.
Thank you, Mr. Walsh. Any questions? Amber?
Hey, I work every Tuesday night. I'm not gonna be able to make a meeting on a Tuesday.
What about Thursdays? Ms. Russell? Miss Amy, you got anything scheduled on 21st of April?
So I have a budget hearing.
That should be a good date.
All right, Veteran Service Committee will meet on April 21st, 6 PM here in the courthouse.
Thank you, Mr. Walsh. Budget and Finance met March 17th at 6 o'clock. This was a special call meeting. The only business that we looked at was emergency increases for the Sheriff's Department. And that was $2 across the board for all Sheriff's Department personnel. That was approved. It was sent to the full body. The compensation study implementation, we looked at that, voted to approve the framework and look at the percentages of raises. Gave Amy some percentages, 2.5%, 5%, and 7.5% to work up the numbers so we would know what that those amounts would incur going into budget time. That's what we did in that budget meeting on the 17th. Met again at our regular meeting on March 21st. We went over the trustees' reports and financial summaries for February, for the year through February. There were no anomalies, nothing that looked too out of line that was noticed, and we did accept that report. Budget amendments, we had several budget amendments that we looked over, went into the ARPA bonuses. I think was approved to send to the full body. I think that was 245.26. That sound right? I think that was the last figure that we had on those. Let's see, 101, 2022, 101.34 was the funding for the playground equipment that was sent forward from Parks and Rec in the amount of 36,611. That was approved by Budget and Finance. The Sheriff's Department increase amounted to, for this year, the remainder of this year, $49,571. That was approved and sent forward to the full body. In the 111 fund, Urban Services, there was $6,898, I believe, was the figure that comes out of the 111 fund for those Sheriff's Department increases. That was approved as well. In our 118 ambulance service fund, we had previously approved a pay increase on EMS. There again, to try to help with some of the loss of employees because of the job situation. That one's 32,690. That will also be a fund balance draw. And Highway Department on the ARPA bonuses amounted to 52,198. And the general purpose school funds, it was three budget amendments sent over from the school board. One has to do with their strategic compensation bonuses, putting it in the right items and category, 138,207. And then their portion of the ARPA bonuses that we were putting forth, I think 190, 473, and 9,316. So all of those were approved by Budget and Finance and sent to the full body for tonight. We did look at the purchase of an ambulance, I believe. Did we approve it? We approved that, didn't we? Yeah. Yeah, $360,000. This is coming out of the ARPA funds for a new ambulance for the county. And we discussed the pilot program, and it was approved to be voted on by the full body at Budget and Finance that night as well. I believe that's all the business that we had that night. Did I miss anything? Members that were there? Okay. All right. Any questions about any of that? A lot of that we'll get into later in the evening, but that's where we're at with it right now. Okay. Audit report, Mr. Harsh.
Yes, we met just prior to this meeting tonight. We started with the election of our officers. We re-elected the same slate we'd previously had, with myself being chairman, Mr. Whitaker vice chairman, and Mary Ann Baker secretary. We then went into and reviewed our fund balances for 2021, and they generally speaking looked really good. And at that point, we looked for through the audit, the state comptroller's audit, and there were two findings with the water and sewer department. The department had deficiencies in the maintenance of capital asset records, and the department also had deficiencies in competitive bids were not solicited for work on sewer lines. And the mayor addressed those issues and the corrective actions that had been taken, and the corrective actions looked okay. And we adjourned.
Any questions about the audit for Mr. Harsh or the mayor? Let's see, none. Were there any other committee reports that we failed to pick up on? See none, we'll move on. Get into our active business for tonight. Do have several appointments for your consideration. First is a vacancy on the Board of Equalization. David Baldwin has been recommended to fill Tony Butt's term. Mr. Butts, we lost him last year. And so David Baldwin is the name put forward. On the resale of land committee, Ms. Johnson, Commissioner Johnson, had formerly served on that, asking to put Gary Clarity on that committee in her stead. Mr. Harsh.
Move to approve both these appointments.
Okay, we have some more too. Okay.
No, more, excuse me.
Okay. Veteran Services Committee, we've had some trouble getting a quorum to meet, and some of the people that were either out of town or are having health issues, and so we're wanting to replace 3 people on that committee, and appoint in their stead Jeff Baxley, Dan Belcher, and Tom Shea, who have all agreed to do that. And most of them have been at these meetings, have attended these meetings. That's why we're trying to get them in there so we can get the business of this committee done and concluded. Also, the Board of Zoning Appeals, Captain Mark Harper resigned from the Board of Zoning Appeals. His business has just grown to the point that he just does not have time, has to work out of town a lot. And the mayor's recommending Karen Linville to fill that position. So that's the appointments that we have. Now, Mr. Harsh.
I was looking at the old agenda.
I'm
so
sorry.
Move to approve all these appointments.
Okay. Mr. Harsh has made the motion to approve all of them. Mr. Gregory has the second. Any questions on any one? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, they are approved. Thank you. Next, we'll move into resolutions. First one is resolution 2022-06-750. This is a resolution authorizing an application for CDBG grants program. Any questions on that one? What's the will of the body? Mr. Clarity?
Make a motion to approve.
Have a motion approved. Ms. Jones has a second. Any further questions or discussions? Seeing none, we're ready to do this electronic. You want to just keep going by voice? Let's try to do it by electronic, if that's okay. Please register your vote. Looks like all votes are in. Tally the vote.
Yes, one's in.
If 20 yes, it is approved. Okay, next, we removed 751. So our next is resolution 2022-08, 752. This is the resolution authorizing the structure for the pilot program. Let's say this has been vetted through steering and budget committee. Mr. Ford. Mr. Ford makes a motion to approve. Mr. Burton gets a second, or do you have a question? Second. Are there any questions on this? We have our Industrial Development Board with us today. We really appreciate y'all coming out. I should have said that earlier. I apologize. Well, I should have recognized you. Okay, any questions? Seeing none, tally our vote. All votes in. Would anyone like to change their vote? Mr. Johnson, try again. Not voting? There we go. Okay, all votes in. All right, please tally the vote.
20 yes, 0 no.
20 yes, 0 no. It is approved. Appreciate everybody's hard work on putting this together. Thank you, Elliot, for all you did, and Brian, and Mayor, and me, and everybody. Okay, 2022 09753. This is the one that the mayor brought up in his report. The Little League has got someone, Wilson Bank and Trust is going to donate new scoreboards to the ballpark. Since it technically is our property, we need to have something, a resolution saying that we authorize Public Works to accept those. And that's what this does. It just accepts those. That is a donation or a gift from them. Any questions? Mr. Gully?
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Mr. Gully. Mr. Gregory gets a second. We have a motion by Mr. Gully and a second by Mr. Gregory. Any further discussion or questions on this one? All we're doing is receiving their gift. Okay. Are we ready to vote? Everybody record your vote, please. All votes in. Anyone wish to change their vote? Please record the vote. 20 yes, 0 no. It is approved. Okay. And that completes our resolutions. Next, we'll move into ordinances. We have a couple of zoning ordinances. The first one is ordinance 236, 2022-06. This is first reading on rezoning a property from A1 to R1 on Templo Road. This tract of land comprises about 57 acres and has, I believe, a little over 2,100 feet of road frontage for development in residential lots. Mr. Harsh.
Move to approve.
Have a motion to approve. Mr. Taylor has a second. Any questions, discussions on this one? Okay, seeing none, please record the vote. Okay, I believe all votes are in. Anyone wish to change their vote? Yeah, it did, but it just didn't record. Okay, now we got them all in. Please record the vote.
20 yes, 0 no.
20 yes, 0 no. It is approved on first reading. We'll have second reading public hearing next month. Next is ordinance 235, 2022-05. I'd like to open the public hearing on this ordinance. This is an ordinance to rezone partial land from R1 to R3, staying in residential development, just a higher density. Open the public hearing. Does anyone wish to speak? Anyone wish to speak? Does anyone? Mr. Harsh?
Move to close the public hearing.
Move to close the public hearing and a second by Mr. Clarity. All in favor of closing the public hearing, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Public hearing is closed. We will take up ordinance 235, 2022-05, rezoning R1 to R3, partial land on East Main Street. Will of the body. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Have a motion approved by Mr. Burton. Mr. Clarity gets a second. Any discussions? Any questions or discussions? Okay. Seeing none, you ready? Please record your vote. All votes in. Please record the vote.
19 yes, 1 abstain.
19 yes, 1 abstention. I did abstain from the vote because I'm an adjacent property owner. That one is approved. All right, next we'll move into budget amendments. Some of these we can take together, but most of these we probably need to do a separate vote on because they are monies coming out of fund balance. First budget amendment for your consideration tonight is 2022-101-33. This is the ARPA bonus appropriation 24526. And that, and I believe the playground equipment can be taken as one unless y'all want to separate them. We can do those first two together. Okay. The second one is 2022-101-34. This is for the repairs on the playground equipment, so we can get it back up to standards. Any objection to taking both of these together?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Harsh?
Move to take them both together and to approve them both.
Have a motion to approve together. Mr. Ford makes the second. I'm sorry. Do you have a question? No, that's the next one. That's the third one. 2022-101-33 and 2022-101-34. This is the ARPA bonus appropriation. We approved the bonuses. We just had to have a dollar figure to come back for them. That's coming out of the ARPA funds, so it's not coming out of the fund balance.
So will employees need to abstain from that?
Sir?
So will employees need to abstain from that?
Bonuses are approved or just appropriating the money.
Would employees need to abstain from this? Since it was already approved, we're just approving the dollar amount.
The bonus itself has been
The
approved.
bonus itself was approved.
We're just appropriating the funds.
It's just an appropriation.
I think it's just an appropriation. I think we abstained before when you were approving it. So I don't think we would need to on these two. I don't think so. Certainly you can. Certainly can. Okay. Are we good on this? Okay. All right. All right.
Are you doing 33 and 35 FB together?
No, 33 and 34.
Okay. All right.
Which is the ARPA bonus appropriation. It's already been voted on to do it. This is the dollar amount. And then the second one was the improvements to the playground equipment. And the other increases, of course, will be voted on separately. We do have a motion and a second. Any further questions on it? Certainly, if you feel that you need to abstain, certainly welcome that you can. All right, let's record our votes, please. Okay. All votes in, please record the vote.
18 yes, 2 abstain.
18 yes, 2 abstentions.
Chairman,
Yes.
over here. Is that abstentions or abstentions for cause?
Is it just an abstention or abstention from cause? They did not state their cause, so I would assume it's just an abstention. They should have voiced if they were abstaining for cause, should they have not?
Yes. Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I abstain with cause on that for family.
If you wish to abstain for cause, you need to state not just that you are, but what the cause is, what your reason for abstaining is.
You said family.
What?
He said family.
Okay, family, okay. Please record it that way. Okay, do we have it? I'm sorry, I misunderstood you. All right. Next is 2022-101-35 FB. This is a fund balance draw. We will need to do it separately. If you are employed certainly by the Sheriff's Department or any of your immediate family is, you would need to abstain and state your reason for that. Okay. It may be better for us to do this by voice vote. Okay, all in favor? Oh, I'm sorry. Do we have a motion to
I'd
approve?
like to make a motion, Mr. Jewell, to
Miss-
approve it.
Ms. Atwood makes a motion to approve. Ms. Jones makes a second. Any further discussion on it? We're going to do voice. I'm sorry, roll call. I'll get it straight in a minute. Roll call, roll call. Roll call, please.
Beverly Atwood,
Yes.
Mary Ann Baker,
Yes.
Ken Buckmaster,
Because my daughter's an employee of the Charles County Sheriff's Department, I abstain with cause.
Shane Burton,
Because I work with Sheriff's Department, Trowsville County, I abstain with cause.
Gary Clarity,
I abstain with family.
Rick Davis,
Yes.
Bill Ferguson,
Yes.
Jerry Ford, Bubba Gregory, Landon Gully, Richard Harsh,
Yes.
Dwight Jewell,
Yes.
Richard Johnson, Rachel Jones,
Yes.
David Nollner,
Yes.
Leslie Overman, Amber Russell,
Yes.
Lonnie Taylor,
Yes.
Gary Walsh,
Yes.
Steve Whitaker,
Because I'm an employee of Travis County Sheriff's Department, I abstain with cause.
15 yes, 4 abstained, and 1 no.
Motion does carry. Motion does carry. Next is 111 Urban Services, 2022-111-04 FB. This is for the part of the sheriff's compensation increase that's coming out of the Urban Services Fund. Madam Clerk, whenever you're ready, call the roll, please.
Mr.
I'm
Chairman,
sorry, motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Ms. Atwood has a motion. Do I have a second? Mr. Taylor makes a second. We do have a motion and second now. So whenever you're ready, call the roll, please.
Because my daughter's an employee of the Charles County Sheriff's Department, I abstain with cause.
Because I'm an employee of the Trowsville County Sheriff's Department, I abstain with cause.
Abstain because of family.
Nollner,
Yes.
Leslie Overman, Amber Russell, Lonnie Taylor,
Yes.
Gary Walsh,
Yes.
Steve Whitaker.
Because I'm an employee of the Charles County Sheriff's Department, I abstain with cause.
Ethan, I'm sorry, I forgot to ask you. Yes, okay, sorry. 15 yes, 1 no, 4 abstentions.
It is approved. Next, we'll go into the 118 Fund, 2022-118-02 FB. This is the emergency appropriation for the EMS department in the tune of $32,690 for the remainder of this year. What's the will of the body? Motion to approve by Ms. Atwood. Ms. Jones has a second. Any discussion on this one? Yeah. Please call the roll. There again, if you or your immediate family or EMS personnel, you would need to recuse yourself.
Beverly Atwood. Yes. Mary Ann Baker. Yes. Kim Buckmaster.
Yes.
Shane Burton.
Yes.
Gary Clarity.
Yes.
Rick Davis,
Yes.
Bill Ferguson,
Yes.
Jerry Ford, Bubba Gregory,
Yes.
Landon Gully,
Yes.
Richard Harsh,
Yes.
Dwight Jewell,
Yes.
Richard Johnson, Rachel Jones,
Yes.
David Nollner,
Yes.
Leslie Overman, Amber Russell,
Yes.
Lonnie Taylor,
Yes.
Gary Walsh,
Yes.
Steve Whitaker,
Yes.
Ethan Bowles. We had 18 yes, 1 no, and 1 abstention.
Did you abstain? You voted no. You abstained? Okay. Okay. Make sure I've got it straight. 18 yes, 1 no, and 1 abstention. It is approved. Next is 2022-131-011, I'm sorry, 01 FB. This is the ARPA bonus appropriation for the highway department, portion of it that will go to the highway department. Okay. Whenever do we have a motion? Ms. Baker
Motion to approve.
has a motion to approve. Mr. Taylor has a second. Any discussion? Okay, whenever you're ready, please call the roll.
Beverly Atwood,
Yes.
Mary Ann Baker,
Yes.
Kim Buckmaster,
Yes.
Shane Burton,
Yes.
Gary Clarity, Rick Davis,
Yes.
Jerry Ford,
Yes.
Bubba Gregory,
Yes.
Bill Ferguson, I'm sorry,
Yes.
Bubba Gregory, Landon Gully,
Yes.
Richard Harsh,
Yes.
Dwight Jewell,
Yes.
Richard Johnson, Rachel Jones,
Yes.
David Nollner,
Yes.
Leslie Overman, Amber Russell,
Yes.
Lonnie Taylor,
Yes.
Gary Walsh,
Yes.
Steve Whitaker.
Yes.
15 yes and 1 no. 19 yes and 1 no.
$19 yes, 1 no, it is approved. Next, we have our general purpose school fund, 141 fund. We have 3 budget amendments coming over from school board. 2022-14109, 2022-14110, 2022-14111. These have to do with bonuses. I think we can we take all 3 of these in one? These are not coming out of our fund balance.
I have a question.
Yes.
I have a question. Is anyone from the schools, can they explain under 2022-14108? It says, if you look, it says educational incentive and then dash, it says other county. What does that mean?
08 or 09?
It's all the way through there. If you look, it says other county, educational incentive, other county, educational incentive, other county. It's,
Dr. Satterfield, do you understand the question? Okay, on your budget amendment 14109, in all the line item categories, it says educational incentive, other county. Other county, other county, other county. And I think the question is, what does other county mean?
I can't answer that.
Do you know what is your line item or your chart of accounts? What's 185? What's that?
The
heading?
educational incentive, that's
Bonus.
the name of it, education incentive bonuses. But the other county dash,
Yeah, what does that mean?
I do not know. I have to ask my bookkeeper. I do not know. I cannot answer that. But it's 185. It's in the right, those are the bonus line items. The 185. The description, other county, I have to get an answer for you.
Ms. Baker, do you want to make further comments?
No, I don't understand what it's for. I don't, yeah, I realize it's incentives, but what's this other county? I don't understand what, if, I just don't understand where that's coming from. Is that money coming from another county or I just
No.
wanted more detail about it. I mean.
No, it's where it's going. All the 185 is originally set up in the budget every year in 71-100. Where about most of our teachers are, and those bonuses are paid out usually October, November, when all of our academic data comes back, which lags a while. And but what we have to do is we have other teachers in those, like alternative instruction, special ed, vocational teachers. And so what we're doing is taking that money out of 185 or 71-100, 185, and we're moving it in the correct categories where those other teachers are. And that equates to $138,705.23. I don't know what other county means. I can't answer that for you. I do think that's very technical in the sense that it is in 185 and it is in the right line item.
They're coming to take me away. Oh. Mr. Walsh,
Motion to approve.
I'll second that.
have a motion to approve and a second by Ms. Atwood. Okay. Any further discussion on this? Mr.
Mr. Chairman, I'm looking at, I just looked up on the chart of accounts from the comptroller's office. And in the education, it has two different education incentive line items or option codes. 184 says educational incentive, that's official or administrative officer. And 185 says educational incentive, other county employees. So looking at these, I think other than administrative at the school system, I think the 185 covers everybody else other than administration at the school system.
Certainly makes sense to me. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate that. Was your motion to approve all three? Okay, the motion was to take all three. That's 2022, 141, 09, 10, and 11. Okay. Any further discussion? Okay. Roll call. Don't need to. Let's try it electronic again. Are all votes in? Anyone wish to change their vote? Please record the vote.
19 yes, 1 abstention.
We have 19 yes, 1 abstention. It is approved. Okay. Next, we have item E, American Rescue Plan Funds spending approval. This is ARPA 12802 for the purchase of a new ambulance for the county. tune of $360,000 coming out of the ARPA funds.
Motion to approve.
Wait a minute, I'm losing. All right, Mr. Ferguson makes a motion. Mr. Harsh makes a second. Any further discussion on this one? Okay, let's put your approval on your board. Okay, I think I'm missing one. Mr. Whitaker? Okay, I believe we have all votes in. Anyone wish to change their votes, please record the vote.
20 yes.
Have 20 yes, it is approved. Okay. Item F, notaries. We have 4 notaries that were tendered from the clerk. We have Betty Anderson, who is self-employed, Mandy Dixon with First National Bank, Melanie Link with Security Fire Protection, Angie White with First National Bank. Those are the 4 notaries we have applications for. Ms. Baker?
Make a motion to approve.
Have a motion to approve by Ms. Baker, second by Mr. Walsh. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, they are approved. I don't know of any other business. Commissioners, do y'all have anything? Mayor, do you have anything else that we didn't do?
No, sir.
Okay. Do come to the time in our agenda for our public comment. If there's anyone here in our public that would like to speak, please feel free. Mr. King, you are recognized.
I would like to thank the commission for their help with this pilot program passing through tonight. This is a step in the right direction for our community. It is a valuable and essential tool towards luring in businesses, industrial and manufacturing into our county with job creation. Job creation will benefit everyone in the community in many, many ways. It will help unburden residential property owners by their taxes not being raised quite as often or as needed. But there's also a large team of people that have worked very hard to bring this to fruition that I'd like to thank. One, our good friends at Middle Tennessee, Kelsey's here. They have, I'm sorry, Tennessee Central. Tennessee Central, Charlie and Daniel and Kelsey have worked very hard on this. Mr. Bob Rochelle and Elliot Benson at Rochelle McCullough Alts in Lebanon have given us stellar and expert advice on how to craft this document so it is protects us and is most beneficial to our community. This project actually started about 10 years ago with Mayor Chambers when he was on the Industrial Development Board. And this was one of his projects back then. We were just fortunate enough to be here and get it across the goal line. But he has worked on this tirelessly for 10 years. We could not have succeeded with this project without the unwavering support of Chairman Jewell and many other citizens in the community that sat in on these focus groups and gave their input. We've had a lot of help, a lot of input, a lot of very careful and thoughtful suggestions. And this is I don't know if you really truly realize how hard this was for a lot of people and a lot of work that put into this, but it's also a huge step forward for our community. So thank you. Thank you very much. Everyone that helped and everyone that was involved. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. King. Appreciate the Industrial Development Board and everyone that worked so diligently and hard on this, and commissioners for this. This will mean a lot to us going into the future, I'm sure. Anyone else? Seeing none, Mr. Walsh. Sorry. Didn't see a hand.
Brad Anderson with Hartsville Little League. Thank you for approving the scoreboards to be put up. Just so the county has a dollar amount to put on the books. The donation will be in the sum of $15,217. That does cover the cost of the scoreboards. The Little League itself will be paying the shipping and installation costs, which will total $4,950. We did look at some outsourcing of the installation, try to save the league some of that money, but it will void the warranty on those scoreboards, and there is a 5-year warranty on the boards that will be covered for the next 5 years. So I just wanted to present that information. The company that will be making and installing is MT Score, which Wilson Bank and Trust, that's who they use to do all the scoreboards in the surrounding counties as well. So just wanted to present that, and thank you again for your approval and for helping us upgrade the facilities. Thank you.
Appreciate it very much. Anyone else?
Mr. Chairman, if I could just ask the Little League, when you get your paperwork, like your invoices and warranty information, if you could give that to the mayor's office, because we have to have it for inventory and insurance purposes. So thank you very much. And congratulations on the scoreboard. I know they're going to look great.
Anyone else? Mr. Walsh, you're recognized.
Motion to adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn and a second by Ms. Jones. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? We are adjourned.